Now, to spare you all the tapping, I've started to have a bit of a skeleton here, and then you can either pause the video and write all this, or you can just, as I will go through each field, you can type them as you progress. Actually, let me take one step back. I just wanted to explain to you the color-coded that I have here. So I have a table. I've just put, I believe, 10. We're going to start with 10 stocks or ETFs here. ETFs, by the way, exchange-traded funds. So that can work with anything, but I just put stock and ETF here. So this color here, this type of amber color here, those will be the fields that are either input by you or they will be retrieved if you have Excel 365. So with Excel 365, there's a lot of automation. There is this new data type that is called the stock type, and that allows you to retrieve some information automatically. It's quite fancy, it's quite good. But if you do not have Excel 365, you can input all this by hand. So this is just all the fields that have this color here will be to input by hand, some as a one-off, and some obviously, if you want to update the prices, will have to be done every time you come back to this spreadsheet. And the second color here, that's regardless if you have Excel 365 or not, you will have to input the amount of shares that you bought and the price. So we'll review this. And then there will be in blue the fields that will be calculated. But let's take them one by one. Let me put that down. So the first is the stock description. I might actually tap it here as an example, assuming you don't have Excel 365. So you would have here, for instance, Coca-Cola. And I will go back to this later on. So the symbol will be KO, for instance. That's a symbol for Coca-Cola. So the amount that you bought, let's say you have bought 100, and that will be the price at which you have bought them. So let's say $2. The industry, so the industries that Excel 365 will retrieve it for you, but you could input them manually here also. Beverage, I think, and something else. So if you would need to check that one. The reason why I've put industry here is later on I will have a pie chart here that will group your investments by industry. So it will be handy for you to have a look at, if you are overweight one industry vs the other one. So that could be of interest to you. And today price, and that's the price as of today. Let's say it climbed all the way to $3, and you put $3 here. And so it looks like he has selected the proper format for me already, so you can just add decimals if you want. Now today change, I have this one in green. The one in green is the one that you cannot do really manually, or will be very complicated. That tell you the change just for the day. So that's something that 365 will retrieve to you, but if you do that manually, what you will need to do is to record yesterday's price and today's price, and I will give you the variation. I am not sure it's that critical for long-term investment, but if you want it, you would just need to have yesterday's price, today's price, and after calculate the variation. But I don't think you would want it. So let's say that if you don't have 365, those green columns here, you can ignore them. Now the purchase value, so that will be the total value of for that very share. So what we do is we do equal the amount that you have bought and the price that you have bought them at. So that's $200. I'm just going to give myself more shares. So that will be $2,000. The value now, it's the same thing, but we take today price instead. So the amount bought here times today price. So here we have the purchase value $2,000 and the value now $3,000. And after we go into the gain or the loss. So let's put that in. So that's very easy. So you put the value now less the purchase value, and you have 1,000 here. So whether or not you like decimals, let's say you don't want all these decimals, you just click on this and you remove the decimals by using this function here, remove. And if you want to select two, you can do remove. To add them, it's the other way around, obviously. So let's just say we're looking at the high picture, we don't need these decimals, and so we leave it this way. So the gain loss, what I have here is will be the percentage. So how much is this related to the purchase value? So you have 0.5, so this is obviously not what we wanted. We wanted a percentage, so we just click on the percentage here. Okay, 50%. After we can get fancy with coloring and the likes. And Excel 365, this is where I will show the chart for Excel 365. Now that's it. So this is more or less the basis. As you've seen, these fields in blue, we have calculated them. The one we have been inputting all those. And if you don't have 365, the today price, that's the only thing that you would have to input when you come back to this. So now what I will be doing is I will be doing the same with Excel 365. I will be showing you the automation that you can have with 365. Now just to show you what we can do with Excel 365, I'm just going to go to another worksheet quickly. You click on the data, on the data tab here. It's got all these data tabs here that are quite exciting, I suppose, in a way that for the big nerds like me, they're quite exciting, is that you can actually have some predefined data type. For instance, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but let's say if I have a bear here and I say my data type is animal, so it will go and retrieve the bear from his database, and then you can add some fields. You can add the taxi, this. You can add the scientific name. You can add, you know, even an image. It's going to take a little bit of time to retrieve it. So it allows you to retrieve data from the name that you have input here. And if you look at the formula here, it just goes to the field and it adds an addendum here. So every field here has a different name, so you don't need to remember all the names, because when you click on it, then as you've seen, you can have a look at those. So how is a bear relevant to us? Well, it is because we're going to use the same principle, but with stocks this time. Let's say if I put a stock like Coca-Cola, and I go on to stock, what happens is when you find several versions of what could be this, he asks you to choose. You know, it's under several stock exchange, so you can choose here and you say the New York Stock Exchange and you select it. And same principle, then you can add a lot of things about the share itself, and we'll be interested in the price, obviously. We'll be interested in the industry. Actually, I was right. It's just beverage industry for Coca-Cola, and you can add a lot of things in this. That is quite exciting. That it lets you retrieve all this. By the way, now it might be a good time for me to tell you that. Let's say you don't have 365 and you don't want to buy it. And by the way, obviously, I don't know if Microsoft is doing affiliates or not, but I have absolutely no connection with Microsoft. I'm not gaining anything by telling you that. I think Microsoft is good sometimes less. But if you don't have Excel 365, there is, if you Google it, there'll be some Excel function that would also allow you to retrieve some data from the stock exchange. So if you Google it, Excel stock exchange data, sometimes you have to pay a very small premium, but if you want everything automated, it is possible as well. So to go back on track, here, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the same principle, and here in this field, the stock description, this is where you will put the stock symbol itself, and after you click on stock, you do the same thing here, and that is done already. So now if you want to add something else, let's say if you want to add the symbol, it's going to put it in the next field. Ticker symbol here, it puts it in the next field. Now if I ask him something else, he's going to put it in the next field here, which is already busy. We already want to use it. So how do we solve this? So we go to the field that we want to fill in, and we said we want equal what is in this field, and then magically it brings back all the other data arguments here, which I think is quite neat. So here, industries, we just need to find industry, and he's gonna, when he's ready, he's going to give it to us. That's it. Today price, I see equal this, today price. Don't worry about extended hours. I mean, this is long-term investment, I assume. Extended means when that has been traded after the market is closed, so usually there's some tiny variations. Now, Excel 365 only, so this is the advantage, I suppose. It's going to tell you if you're really interested in the change here. It's going to tell you the change of the day. Let's do this. And then the purchase value, all that is the same as before. So you will do a copy here and you will paste it here. Actually, you can do that for the whole thing. So what did I miss? What I missed was the amount that you buy, because that doesn't come from 365. Good thing. And this is, let's say about this one's at 250 instead. Okay. So something else that I use quite often in Excel, and it's been really a time saver, is, I don't know if you're using it, but if you go to the Home tab, is this Format Painter. I think this is absolutely fantastic as a time saver. So let's say you want to format a field, but you know here you want to you have to put it at the center and the likes, and you want to put it exactly like this one, for instance. So you just click on the field that you want to format from. You click on Format Painter, and then when you have this little brush, you put it back. If you click on here and you double click on the Format Painter, so you can do that on several fields. So you see this field, this field, this field. So this is brilliant. I found that very, very useful. So here I'm going to do the same, Format Painter here, here. I mean, actually all that was quite well formatted. So I take the whole row and I just do the Format Painter on here. So this is good. So what do we have here? So we have $60 a today price. Obviously here I was being a little bit optimistic, unless it's been at the beginning of Coca-Cola. So I'm just going to put something a little bit more realistic. Let's say I bought it at $50 here. And here what you would do, you would put 60.23 as well. And let's say you bought it at $50. Same, so you should have the same amount. So as you see, you're missing out on the two-day change with, you know, as mentioned, I'm not sure if it's really useful, but as it's usually small amounts, you can put more decimals there. So what we have here, we have our skeleton. We really have the brain of our spreadsheet. This is where all the data will come from. And we just need to do that for 10 stocks that we'll be choosing randomly. So I don't want to bother you too much with this. Maybe you want to stop this and, you know, select your 10 stocks, or it works also with ETFs. Let's say the ETF that is often used, let's say XLK. This is the ETF for tech stocks. I'm going back to my data, stock, and that's it. So it's found it already. So what you do is you have Excel 365, you just copy this and you copy it under. It finds everything already. Now there's only one challenge with this, is that with ETFs, and actually that's good that it picked that up, because something I forgot to tell you is with ETF it will not put you in the industry, because ETF is a basket of stocks, if you want, so it cannot find the industry. So this is what you'll be happy to erase it, to replace it. So the field here was C7 industry here. What I want to do is I want to remove this and I want to put ETF, for instance, or you could put whatever you want, like, you know, a basket of stocks or whatever. And then when we group by industry, then that will be put into a different basket of industry. So that's pretty much it. So now, if you don't mind, I will be inputting more data into this. I don't think that would add any value to your lesson, so I will go offline to do this, and I will come back with a full thing. You might want to do the same. Actually, it'd be good if you could go back and do the same thing. So see you soon. Welcome back. So we need to get started on the graphs, on printing the summaries. So one of the summary that we had on graph was giving you a high-level view of each talk, but you know, there's a lot of numbers, so it'd be nice to visualize it. So in order to do that, we need to do a graph. On a graph, I would like to have two different colors, like one color for the positive values and one color for the negative values. So we cannot do that natively with Excel. So the way I do it is I am creating two additional rows here. This one with only the positive values, and the one with the negative values. You guessed it. Okay, I'm going to put that under wrap text. So it's wraps, it doesn't go the other way around. So if the value here, the gain loss, is positive, I want to put it in the positive values, and if it's negative, here. So how do I do that? I just do, if this is positive, then I put it, and if it's not, then I leave it to 0. Let's see if it works. And I drag that all the way down. So the little cross, if you don't know it, the little cross here, and you drag it all the way down. So let's see if this is, no, it took this one, take this one, take this one. So that seems to work. And for negative values, I do the same the other way around. If this field is negative, I put this field, or else I put 0. If it works. So we should have values in either. So let's just put a bit of frame to this. Okay, and that I would like to have the same for my painter, and there's all numbers here, so I'll just put all neatly like this. So that will allow us to have a chart with two different colors. So let me explain maybe with a graph. So let's start a graph with this and the positive values. Okay, so I just select those two rows and I said insert. I go here, not histogram. No, that's not what I want. Let's say the 2D column like this. Okay, so I have this. Good work. Now I add to this, so I copy this and I press just copy, and after I click on the chart and I just do Ctrl V, so I paste it on. And you see what happens. It puts this column in a different color, which is what I wanted to start with. Obviously maybe not that color, although it looks quite logical to have more the reddish for negative values. So I have the rough chart here. Obviously we'll work on making it look a bit nicer, but I have already quite a good overview of my chart, because just by looking at this quickly, you're not really sure where you stand, but here you say, okay, so XLK is doing very well. KO, I have 2 KO, so this is the because I have one input manually, but if we put the other one here, okay, so this is, yeah, so they would be the same. Obviously you wouldn't do this, but I wanted to show you the manual and the automated one as well. So that might be, so this is a bit depressing actually, so let me let me put something a little bit more, just gonna put $100. So this is it. So let's leave it rough like this for the time being, and after I will go back to these charts and I will make them look a bit better. So I will be creating a new tab here. New tab, I will call it industry, say, industry. So right click, rename, if you don't know, right click, rename. And I will need to list all the industry tabs that I have here. And I will put a total for that, total by industry. Okay, by industry. So there is two ways to find all the industry tabs. So the first way is to do it manually. So you have all your industry and you just put manually beverage ETF. And but if you have Excel 365, there's another function that is called unique. And then you just select the array here where the industry is, and that should work. And it brings you back everything dynamically. So if you don't have it, I mean, they just write down all the industries that you have. That's no big deal. And then you have the total by industry here. So in order to do that, what we need to do is to sum, obviously, all the value now of all the stocks that are beverage, all the stocks that are ETF, the one that are software and IT and the likes. So total by industry. So how do you do this? You do a sum if. The function is sum if. And what we do is we click on here, we go into the range. The range is the range where you have all your industry here. That's what we evaluate. And we go to the criteria. The criteria needs to be equal to this, D6. And what row do we add? So we add the column, sorry, what column do we add? So the value now is at the one that we add. So just so that you can see, oops, I'm trying to, oh, it doesn't let me. Okay, so you have to trust me on this. I'm selecting all the value now. So we go through this, we add all the value now when it's equal to what's in here, when it's equal to beverage. Okay, and then you drag all that down as usual. And then you have your totals and you make it look a bit nicer. But this will be used to do our pie chart. So let's do our pie chart then. So we just select all this. We do an insert, we choose a pie, and bingo, here we have a pie. So obviously we don't like the way this is this is going. We will add labels to this. We will change this a little bit. But for the moment, we have our two charts already ready to go. Before we move it to the other sheet, we can start to format this a little bit. So what we want to do, I think I found that very hard to know what is where, and also I'd like to add the totals. So what we can do is we add data labels. And it takes one randomly, I think probably more the number. And when you right click on the chart, you go to format data labels, and this is where you can choose what you want. So I'm happy to have the numbers, but I still don't want to have to think, oh, well, what is this color here? What I want to do is to bring in the category name with it. So now I know this is ETF. Ooh, I have a lot of ETFs there. It's not always a bad thing, but there you go. So what I want to do with all this too is I want to be big enough because I want to be able to see them inside. I would like to put them in white. So I just click on the label again and I put white. I put bold. So there you go. So if you want to put gradient instead, that's something that some like less. So you can go here and select another type of chart. So this one, for instance, you put it here, you put your text back in white, might be a little bit better. What I like to have is outline of my pie chart. I like to have something in white. If you want more white, you go to shape outline and you put the bigger weight here, and that's it. So that's one way to do it. And then do I still need this? No, so you click on it and you delete and you remove it. The title, you can put total by industry. Looks like he's done it already, but I want to put portfolio by industry. Now let's do a little bit of formatting on this chart here. So the first thing I'd like to do on this chart is to start to apply my dark. I mean, that's obviously, it depends, you know, if you're into it or not, but I like the dark types of charts. So I would put this very dark here, blue accent, and I will click on the stock and I will put that as white, and I will do a Control B to put it as bold. So we can't see much for the time being, but trust me, that will come. So we also click on the vertical axis here and we say text fill white. Now what I want to do also is to bring those closer together. So we right click and on any of those and we click on format data series. And then what comes up usually directly, if it doesn't come up for you, just look for series option, plot series on and the likes. So series overlap and gap width. So I don't want to have too big of a gap. So this way that make them look closer, and also I want to have an overlap. So that might be a little bit too much, but you play around with this until you're happy. So that's it didn't take the 80. So how does it look? So that looks a little bit better, obviously. So this is not obviously my test. So and then you click on the blue ones, and then you can directly go into the shape styles here, because I like to have a little bit of a gradient. So now it should, hang on. And here I put the gradient here. You know, you can choose what type you like. I'm going for the dark gradient, and under I don't want to be all doom and gloom and say, oh, it's all red. I want to put a blue instead, but a light blue, because I already have a dark blue. So this is my choice. You've noticed that once you select one of those, after it brings back the same row. So it brought back the row of the gradient, so I didn't have to go down, select the gradient. So you have other tabs also there that are quite good, but I'll stick with this. And I think this is a bit too big. I want to bring that a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to put it to 8. Big difference. After, obviously, we can change the shape of this. What I want to do is I want to, you know, these two fields that I had here, maybe I'll just move them farther. Just move them here. Nobody needs to see this. I want to put that here, just to make sure I don't mess up the colors. What I can do is I can select all the cells here, and I put the background here in the same color. So here you cannot tell which is which, which is what I wanted. So I want to make that bigger, so I can put the other chart on top. I take this, make it look a little bit bigger. Ooh, too much. Okay, so let's be reasonable here. Now the challenge I have is that it also made this bigger, so that's okay. We can bring that smaller here. It's all a matter of taste. I keep saying that, but I suppose it's all on to you if you like it or not. Now this is it. So now shall we go and get the other one, and then we're starting to have a rough idea of what this is going to look like on the final. So I'm just going to take it as is, and then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to put it here, and then I'm going to try and fill it in. So almost there. So to make it blend in, I have the choice. So I can either select it, select the chart, make sure you have this little cross here, select the chart, and it's in the format, I think, chart design here. In the format, you have either the option to put a shape fill with this color here, so it should blend in, or what you can do is put no fill, because I have the cells behind and it should be transparent. So let's just put this. Okay, we want to put some totals on the top here. Before I do, I just at least like to click on the chart title here, and for the format I want to put a different color so it stands out, I'll put the first yellow that I find here, and then I will put it underline. Would bold work? Yes, I think bold works best. And the other one is pretty obvious what we have, so I don't need to really title it. Okay, so I need some totals now to put, something that we haven't done yet. So totals, very easy. What do we know? The total of today price doesn't make sense. The purchase value, that would be interesting. I just click on that field and I click on auto sum, and bang, it does it automatically. Value now, I just can copy and paste the value now, it will be there. Gain lost is same. And I'm not gonna add all the percentage here because obviously it doesn't really make sense. What I need to do is to repeat the formula that I had here for each one of those fields. I repeat the formula here, which is I take this amount and I divide the purchase value just to give me an idea of how much it has increased or decreased. So we have more fields here. I will put the grid. Okay, so we haven't done much formatting on the table yet, but that will come. Let's see how we can bring those numbers here. So, you know, I could just put add number here like this, some things at the top like this, but the challenge I have with this is I cannot really control here. I have some chart, I cannot bring that down. I want to be able to bring it down, bring it up, do whatever I want with it. So there's a very neat trick that we can do is we actually create a text box, and I will be creating heaps of those. You go to insert and you do a text box, and then you put your text box here, you drag it, you put it like this, and then you click, you make sure that you have the cross, you click this, and you don't input anything inside. What you do is you say equal to, you go there, and you say equal to, what do we want? Total invested. Oh, if we want to put the value now, okay. So I put the value now, so equal this field. And then when this change, that will change. So that's that is quite good, I think. So let's say I want to put it, put the shape, and I can do whatever I want with it. I can put it no outline. Sorry, it's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to put no field. That's it. Shape field, no field. Just in case you missed it. Shape field, no field. And then here I can go crazy. I can maybe put it in white. And then I can increase the font. I can put it in bold. This is very neat. And also what I can do is, as it's a box, I can go to the text field here and text effects, and I can do a shadow. Okay. Oh, what have I done? It's all gone. Oh, it's getting too big for the box. Yes, it's getting too big for the box. So you just increase the box. So what I realize I like is I like this color with this. I think it goes well. So once again, I warn you, be creating all of these boxes. I'm going to add insert a text box. I'm going to create another text box, and here I'm going to put the portfolio value. Let's say yes, that's it. Portfolio value. Put it on top, and I will do the same thing. Shape format, shape field none, so I can click here, and you should get rid of it because that was the last one I used. I don't want white this time. I want this. And I can put it in bold, Control B, and I can underline it. And here I have portfolio value, and I can put it here. I don't want to see the shape format, the outline. It's to be removed. Okay. So now I would like to do this for actually the gain and loss. I think that's something that is quite useful and you would want to have. So what I do is I just select that box here and I do a copy and paste. And I change this. What do I want inside? I want a gain loss. Gain loss. Hopefully it will be gain, but we'll see. And after I can align all this later on. just more to show you at this stage. I want to, okay, so here instead of, I just copy and paste, and I choose the gain loss here, and I press this, say enter, and I can be fancy. I don't have to put, you know, I don't have to put this white here. I can go text fill. I can go with gradient. All right, so that's just to give you an example of the type of gradient that you can have if you're into this. Put a little bit on the side. I want to put this. So same thing here, and I will put instead the gain loss. There we go. So that should go into it. Okay, let's continue. I wanted to show you something else. I wanted to, you know, we've created text boxes to do all this, but what if you wanted to put a field here that you want to reflect the format, where you want to reflect, sorry, the formatting of the field here. So here I can do some conditional formatting because it's a number, and I wanted to reflect it here. So I suppose the best way might be for me to show it to you. So let's take this field here. What I want is to be green when it's up and red when it's down. So I'm going to conditional formatting here, and I like to cell rule. So when it's greater than 0, I will put the green like this. And then I can either put the red directly, but I want to do it properly here, so I can show you when it's less than 0. I want it to be red. Now, what we do is you put your cursor on that field, you copy it, and then you do a right click because you want to have a special, paste a special, and what you go to the bottom here and you paste it as a link picture, and you'll see that's wonderful. Look. And when something changes here, like let's say I'm changing a little bit I want to change this to purchase price to $10. It goes with it, it changes with it. And if I say $1,000, it changes, it's wonderful. So I'm just going to go back to something here around $5. So now we have this, and we can put it wherever we like. So let me remove this one. I just wanted to show you that that's another thing. So we saw text box and now the picture box. And I think I can add also a little bit of a picture border. I want to put it a little bit of white here, for instance. Okay. So that's it. So you have this field here, you have this one here. So you have your gain loss. Here, portfolio value. So this is taking shape, the top of this. So what I wanted to do is, I've decided I don't really like those frame here because I think it's good to have separation, but I don't like the way it goes all around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to there, format, shape outline. I'm going to put it to no outline, and I'm going to do the same. I click here and I do F4, and I should remove it. It doesn't, so I have to go back here, shape outline, no outline. And instead of separation, I'm just going to add the old bar here. So I'm just going to put this bar here like this, and I put it. I'm going to put it in white. Okay. And if I manage to have it perfectly horizontally, it'll be a miracle. But I'm going to try. So that's it. So I have this here. I copy and paste it, and I put it one here. That could work. So what I wanted to do also is to put some icons. You go insert icons, and let's say what I could put. I could put money here. Money. Which one do I want to take? This one. And it should be able to remember it, and I can ask for another one like industry. Let's see what it can find. industry. How does that look? Take the one without the smoke. Okay, the one with the smoke, and the other one a bit of a chart. Going up. That's it. So this one here. So I should have 3, insert 3 here, and I insert the 3. So I have 3 things here that I can put on top of each to separate it so that we are not overwhelmed. So we could go in graphic format, graphic field. I can put it in white. Let me just get smaller here. Smaller here. And if, let's see if the format painter works with this. It does. Okay, good. And then format painter here works. Whether or not you want to add shadows in this, it's up to you. Let's have a look what it looks like. Can't hardly tell. This one here, I will put it at the bottom. That's not really the industry, is it? Put it here at the bottom. This one, I put it here. And just to show you, I just wanted to go to the graphic effect and have a bit of reflection. So it looks very fancy. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you've seen that already, but for me, it puts the reflection too far for this because he has a frame to deal with. But what I do is I go to graphic format and I crop it, and then hopefully I don't mess it up. So that's it. Now it's very close. Looks like we have the thing almost ready. So what we need to do is to, we just put all that, try to align all that up. Portfolio value, again low, so plus 3000. If you want to change it, you just right click on it and you go to format shape, and then you would have some pre-filled things here. You go to text options. You know, if you don't like this, for instance, you can select another gradient with a little bit more granularity here, I suppose. For instance, this one might be a little bit better, although it's not really 100% sure. So that's it for the graph. So now what we need to do is to format all this as well. So this should be quite easy because it's all going to be the same color with the exception of the symbol and of the percentage. I wanted to have the symbol a little bit differently because this way that allows you for a quick way to go to it. So let's take the dark blue. I think I want to put all this a bit smaller. So I select it all and I put 10. Okay, we can still change it later on if we don't like it. So this I wanted to go back to this, but put it a little bit less blue, so we can recognize it easily. Doesn't want to take it. That's it. Right. There you go. And this all the rest apart from today change. And percentage here, I'm going to do the same. I want to put this. Sorry, not this one. It's quite a deep blue, so it might be a bit too deep for you. You can still change it. And then this, I will actually, I'm going to do the trick here. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to do the format painter, and I'm going to do all this. Now we're going to have a problem, is like it was a different font, so I just need to make sure I put it the same size font, 9, okay. And here, format painter, same thing. This time it should be okay right from the start. Open to debate, but it might be best to select all this and put some white borders instead. I think you need to go to more borders. That's it. You select the color white, and then you click on outline and inside to make sure everything goes white. That's it. I reserve the right to change all these colors. If I find them a little bit too excessive, I could have maybe a lighter blue, but I can change all this at the last moment. So now for the Excel 365, we will add this as a last step. So let's see if we don't have Excel 365, we hide this and we put everything like this. And this is okay, I like it. Get used to the deep blue actually after a while. Now, what's missing? I think we're it. So today's change here, obviously, if you don't have Excel 365, you would also hide this, and then you would have beautiful. Okay, so that's okay. I almost look surprised that it looks okay. Something else maybe is that you want to click on purchase value here, and you might want to have everything the same color here, so it's consistent. It looks a bit duller now but now that the training is finished, and obviously this should be at the same color, but you might want to bring everything back to the same color here. So welcome back. Just to finish things off with the Excel 365, we unhide those fields to start with, and we unhide those because they would make sense to you. Now what I want to do is I want to add sparkline here. Let's just put here settings. And I suggest you don't change them. I think 52 weeks is a good period to watch your chart. So this is what you put here. And then what I put here is I put today. So you just retrieve the today's date here. And here I put 365 days, so I will deduct this from that date here, so that will give me the start date. So I make sure that I'm consistent, that I always have the same amount of data to retrieve, because we'll be retrieving data from the stock history. And then another function here that is be used, it's the interval. So 0 is for days. So you could retrieve days, week, month, and we'll see that when we see the function. But for the moment, I really suggest that you keep this. I will be doing a little bit of formatting. Okay, so now I will be creating another sheet here, and I will be calling it the stock data. So this is where we will be retrieving the stock history from using the Microsoft command. So the Microsoft command that we are using is called the stock history. So the way it works is there is a start date, an end date, and an interval. So obviously those are obvious, and the interval is 0 for days, and I think 1 for week and 2 for months, something along those lines. But we'll be only doing the daily, because I think it looks better on the sparkline, and we will have the 52 weeks represented. If you want to do more or less, you can do it, but be mindful that for the sparkline we need to say the amount of period that we retrieve, so we will be retrieving in this case only 52 weeks. So this is what we need. So we need C4 here, we need to have the stock here. So let me have a look. So what I will be doing is I will be retrieving from this the stock name from the other sheet here. And look what it's done. It's done it all already. So see how quickly it worked. Actually, it's incredible. And if I want to make sure that I have, if I want to select how many I have, I just go here. Say I just go here and I just count how many non-blank fields, so that will tell me how many is retrieved, and I have 251. So it's retrieved 251 rows. And then I do the same. So I will be doing the same with the next stock is going to be the same here, because we have 2 KO. And then the next stock here. Okay, so here that's going to be That's going to be magical. You just need to retrieve all this. Just copy this at the same. I like to repeat discount A here just to make sure that I'm retrieving the same. So what we've done is we retrieved the data for all this stuff. So, you know, if you know about Sparkline, then the rest is pretty straightforward. So what the way Sparkline works is a bit like a chart that fits into one cell. So I go insert, and instead of taking the chart here, I go to the line, and I select the data range. So, you know, I could either name this, or I could just manually take the all that is here. So which is 256 to 256. Press enter. It's going to be thinking about it, and after, if I go back at the top, it's already done my chart. What I need to do is instead put this Sparkline here. So I just another way to do it. So I just need to put it here. Another way to do it is I go to insert Sparkline from here, and I go back over there. I mean, I could have named the tables as mentioned, but I go to stock data, and I take all the close here, and here it puts it here. And then I do the same for every stock. So put back here. This is the same one. I'm lucky. So this, if I want to put this way, after I can go to the Sparkline. I say edit data. So I just want to put something different instead. I want to say I want it from close here. I'm selecting all those here, and I will be repeating this. Now the beauty with this is that when you change your stock, then that will come. You don't have to redo it all the time. Now it's all locked in, all done. It will, you know, for instance, if I go here and I put a Kellogg here instead. So if it retrieves it, so I put Kellogg company as same, and it goes and retrieve it. So you don't have to go through this all the time. So now I want to make this a little bit nicer. I think I would like to keep with the theme of the dark blue here. That's a very dark blue here. So that all look like a bit of a mess, but instead, if I go to the Sparkline here and Sparkline color, and I put, it's not very nice. So what I need to do is, and actually, for some reason, let me just copy the format painter here and just do this. So I retrieve my grid. What I would like to do instead is, I mean, you might like it like this, but I think it might be a bit more in your face if you have all the different color for what is the stock and what's above the stock. So what you can do is to put a column here, and that's it. I think I would like the Sparkline color to be a little bit. Maybe that will do. Okay. But what I need to do is to put them all as a column. Okay. And then the Sparkline color will go like this. Okay. Now decline or responsibility. If you get blind after this, you might not like the contrast of colors, but for me, I like it. It's true at the beginning it's a little bit different, but I get used to it. For the Excel 365, those of you who have access to the function, there's something I could add is a two-day change, because we can get this information from the function. So I've added a two-day change field here. I move that more to the center so we can add this here. So what I need to do is I need to add a couple of fields here. I need to add the previous close so we can calculate the difference, and the overall value yesterday equal to this field here. And it gives me a little bit of of the list here, previous close. So this is the one I'll be choosing. So I have the previous close. Okay, so let's take all the previous close. Let's just format that. I take all the previous close for all these fields. Calculate the previous close times the number of stock that I have. I have 10. Okay. Okay. So as it's gonna mess myself up, I'm gonna put this one back to the same as here. I'm gonna put the Coca-Cola here as well, and I'm going to copy all these fields here. So we are not in manual mode anymore, but that allows us to retrieve all the data from these two. So otherwise, the variation will not make sense because we have one missing. So the previous close, so the value yesterday, I do a sum of all this. So that will give me the value yesterday. So what is left to be done is the value today vs the value yesterday. So I take the value today, which is here, less the value yesterday, and I have 147, and I calculate that as a percentage on the value of yesterday. Format this the same way, format it this way, so the format will change. So I copy this and I paste it special as a linked picture, and here it is already. Text box here, insert text box. That's it. So I have the value in here. I could take this format and see if it works. If I format it here, I put it back here. That's it. So I have a need today change as well. I could format this the same way, so we're consistent. It's very fun. I think it's very good. These new functions from Excel. So I'll be doing more videos like this, trying to put the new functions in a context. So this is it. Thank you for being with me on this, and please stay tuned, subscribe, follow, whatever the medium is, and I'll make sure that I'll make something interesting next time as well.